Hey guys, real quick, only 40% of our viewers are actually subscribed, so let's change that right now. Hit that subscribe button right below. Atlanta Falcons at the New England Patriots. Patriots by 5.5. Over-under is 44.5. 3-4 Falcons against the 6-2 New England Patriots, who have won 5 straight.
Yeah.
Looking pretty good here. Over-under, I already said it, 45.5.
Looking very good.
The most confusing team in the league, the Atlanta Falcons.
Yep.
They were less confusing. If they had just won last week,
On both sides of the ball.
it would just be they went from we've got home road issues, bad home road splits, to now they're just confusing because they lost at home to a bad Dolphins team.
Yeah, I mean, we've had home road splits. We've had sometimes they can run the ball at will against good defenses. Sometimes apparently they can't even run the ball at all against one of the worst run defenses in the NFL. Their defense has shut down and put Josh Allen in hell, and then their defense got gashed by Tua and one eye. Like I don't know what to make of either side of the ball from Atlanta.
Great. Losing Divine Diablo seemingly hurt their defense a little bit, but they looked pretty bad last week against Miami.
Yeah.
Looked kind of slow. Miami was getting players into space, and now the way New England's creating explosives in the pass game, Drake May throwing the ball down the field. New England's run game showed signs of life last week, getting Travion Henderson on the edge and moving the ball that way against Cleveland. And I think you're starting to find a rhythm, not just with Drake May throwing the ball down the field. I mentioned earlier, Sam Darnold, number 1 in yards per attempt at 24 on 20-plus yard throws. May's right at 23. May's got that chart that was going around the internet, like, his completion percentage, everything throwing the ball down the field is like elite, special level, and we're seeing that every single week. But I also, in addition to just making the throws, Drake May, Josh McDaniels, I think you're starting to see a really good connection there. And McDaniels is starting to get, I think, a pretty good feel for calling the game. I thought they made great second-half adjustments against Cleveland right after Myles Garrett's wreaking havoc, and they only had 9 points in the first half. Then they get the perimeter running game going, create some downfield pass attempts. So there's just a really good rhythm to the Patriots offense.
Yeah, absolutely. That Patriots offense looks really, really good. They might be forced to play Travion Henderson a bit more this week with Ramondre Stevenson dealing with a toe injury. I still think Henderson's an extremely talented running back that can be explosive and make some big plays with his offense, but generally that offense looks very good. Now the question becomes, can Atlanta have the type of game that they had against Buffalo where their defense was creative, where they sent blitzes from everywhere, where they were causing all kinds of chaos? If they can, then again, that's a different test than we've seen for Drake May. He hasn't really faced that.
We still, while we're talking about New England's offense, no, actually, yeah, forget it. It's New England's defense I was going to talk about. Still have Michael Penix injured. Don't know if he's going to play.
So Penix
this week.
Yeah, dealing with his injury, coming back. You've also got Kirk Cousins apparently agitating for a trade. Kirk Cousins wants a starting opportunity somewhere in the NFL. Obviously, he's not got one of those in Atlanta, other than right now.
Where are their starting opportunities?
Rumors. The rumors are rumbling. Cousins wants a starting job.
How many teams need a starter right now in Week 9? Quarterback. Is he trying to like
Minnesota?
Oh, okay. No. That would be interesting, actually.
J.J. McCarthy comes back in, stinks, and then.
No, I mean, look, Cousins didn't look good last week.
No.
My point on Monday was I don't know.
I mean, his biggest obstacle to starting again might be that he doesn't look like he should be starting again.
Right, but I don't know. He feels like the guy that just needs the reps to stay fresh. And if you gave him the reps, he'd be better than he looked last week. I just don't know if he's the best backup. I know he was a backup early in his career and did a good job with Washington. I just don't know if that's him. The Minnesota thing would be fascinating because if JJ does have we'll talk about him in a minute at Detroit. If he does have one bad start, would you sacrifice the second half of the year of development to try to save this season? Like those are the types of in-season calls.
No, Cousins. I mean, I think, look, they would be bringing in some kind of onerous contract, however much Atlanta might be willing to eat of that. Like, that would be bad.
I think they'd get him on the cheap. I think they'd get Atlanta having to eat most of the money. And I also don't think Atlanta would actually do that, to be honest. So I don't even know why we're having this conversation.
Because Cousins wants out.
So what? Sorry,
So
man.
that's a different deal than previously.
Well,
It changes things. When
you're
previously
under
it had
contract and we need you because Pennick's got a knee bruise and who knows when he's going to get hurt again.
right, but it's a different thing when the quarterback is happy with that situation, or at least happy enough to be quiet, versus when the quarterback has decided he's not happy with that situation and wants out.
What's he going to do? Not play? Not try to not play well?
I mean, the guy.
It's not going to help anybody.
There's
You
no
gotta
point.
play.
There's no point in acting like it's a ridiculous situation. Like a malcontent player in the locker room is not a good thing for an NFL team, regardless of like whether or not they can actually force the situation. Them being an asshole in the building is not a good thing.
Maybe he's been malcontent all year. It's just coming out. Who knows? Anyway, let's talk about this game. What else in this game? Oh, I was going to bring up New England. We know Atlanta's run game, whether it's Cousins or Penix, outside zone all day. That's what they run. Twice as much as the next highest outside zone team. New England, per the 33rd team, crack research team, 1.4 yards per carry allowed against the outside or wide zone, depending on how you want to call it. That's best in the NFL. This is the perfect type of, just like Miami, there's no way Miami can stop Atlanta. Look at New England, perfectly situated to stop Atlanta's run game. Will they mix it up? Will they go, it's strength on strength with the wide zone game here.
Yeah, I mean they haven't so far. So
They haven't mixed it up in 2
seems unlikely.
years. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it does. I don't know how long you give that. If it's like this team is extremely well positioned to stop the thing that we want to do, let's see if it works anyway. And then how far into a game do you go before you're like, okay, they really can't stop us. Let's go somewhere else.
The other dynamic, I mean, they were missing Drake London last week. Like the injuries at receiver, it feels like Atlanta's been very fragile to their receivers, right? Drake London is a high volume possession type. Darnell Mooney is your deep threat. Both guys in and out of the lineup, banged up throughout the year. That affects things. They just have these defined roles where if they're both out there, and then you've got Kyle Pitts, and then you've got the run game. I mean, you have these defined roles that they just haven't been able to find the right replacements when they don't have those guys working, firing on all cylinders type of deal. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Atlanta's got to play much better offensively. Right when we're ready to write them off, they come back and have a great game against Buffalo.
Yeah, they're just
You
confusing.
just don't know.
It's really hard to analyze them in any kind of sensible way of like, this is how the game's going to break down, blah, blah, blah. Because number one, we don't yet know who the quarterback's going to be. And number two, even when we do, who the hell knows what this Atlanta team's going to look like? Both sides of the ball have had games where they're excellent or terrible, with very little logic dictating which outcome's which.
And then from a New England perspective, another week where it's like, all right, they just beat after the big Buffalo win, they beat the Saints, Titans, and Browns. Combined 4 wins between those 3 teams.
Right.
Now they have Atlanta, and they're going to Tampa Bay the next 2 weeks. So Atlanta is confusing, but they're more competitive than the last 3 teams. Mm-hmm. Tampa Bay, that's going to be a tough game next week. So it's the first time we've seen New England against a more competitive team since the Buffalo game, we'll say. They've done a nice job of taking care of business, both sides of the ball. It's just another test in this like rebuild from New England as, hey, they're front runners now.
Yeah.
And, oh, by the way, like you're battling for the division. You don't have the opportunity to slip. And maybe Buffalo slips up, slips up. They have to play the Chiefs this week. You have a chance to either take an even bigger lead in the East, but you also have to prove, hey, you're going to win these games that you're supposed to win. And as 5.5 point favorites, you're supposed to win this game.
Yeah, they're all interesting kind of new tests every week for this Patriots team. The Buffalo thing was a kind of statement, a coming out party. Then you've got the potential trap game of the Saints. You've got 2 more teams that you should win, and you do. Now you've got a team in Atlanta that's capable of weird, exotic looks on defense. It's capable of impressive play on offense. We don't quite know what that's going to be, but that's a different test. And then the following week, you've got this Tampa Bay defense, which is one of the most unique defenses in the NFL in terms of how much they're going to blitz and send the house at you. So each one of these weeks is like a different thing for Drake May to show that he can still be a high-end elite player, that the offense can still hum, and that the Patriots themselves, as potential front runners or as at minimum like a real competitive, contending playoff team, can show that they're comfortable with that designation.
All right, man. I'm looking forward to this game. I think it's Atlanta's injury report right now includes London, who missed the game last week, includes Darnell Mooney, a hip and a hamstring respectively, includes Jesse Bates at safety. Jalen Walker hasn't played in a few weeks, the rookie edge. He's got a hamstring he's still dealing with. Kyle Pitts is on there with an ankle. They're beat up, and we still have the Penix Cousins question. And if you have, I don't know, like Cousins, it would never surprise me if he played well. Like, he's a good quarterback. I don't know if at this point in his career, if it's like write him off because he's getting older and he's lost some physical tools when he didn't really have much to begin with, or if he's just not situated to be a really good backup at this point either. So it's going to be a tough one for Atlanta given last week's loss.
Yeah, I just really don't know what to make. What kind of Atlanta team is going to turn up on either side of the ball?
Where are you going to go with this one? 5.5, New England favored.
Consequently, I'm just going to assume the Patriots win and cover.
Yeah, I'll do this. I'll take the same, as will Harry. Patriots to win and cover the 5.5.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video.
Check the Mic is live Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss a video.
You heard the man. Subscribe.